How's it going, MSS 251? It's Zach here again. Today we're going to talk about air power theory and strategy, mainly its origins. So, we got to start with Giulio Douhet. He was really the pioneer when it came to thinking about how air power is going to be used in warfare. He wrote a book in 1921 called Command of the Air, and in it he talked about 5 main points. And these are the points that he was theorizing about at the time. You're going to hear these and think, well, that's not necessarily true. But that's how he saw warfare coming out of World War I, or air warfare coming out of World War I. So air power is inherently offensive. That's number 1. 2, no ground defense exists against air attack. And that might be true during World War I, but we'll see this develop in World War II. 3, focus on destroying vital centers. And that is probably the point he makes that is going to last the longest, even last today. Point number 4, psychological effects are even greater than physical destruction. Point number 5, air power is revolutionary. So that basically means it's time to invest in it now. 1921, a lot of countries are just starting to get into this air power thing, and he's arguing that whoever invests in it the most now is going to have the dominating military in the future. So, he made a lot of claims. Some of those were exaggerated, as we'll see in World War II. Now, William Billy Mitchell is really the next historical, figure when it comes to air power theory and strategy. He gained fame initially for commanding the largest aerial force during World War I. It was roughly 400 or 500 aircraft, which for World War I, that's crazy. That's a huge amount of planes for them. So his main points are air power is the ability to do something in the air. He defines air power for us, so that's nice. Armies and navies can't exist unless the air over them is controlled, and we'll see the Germans really utilize this during World War II. Attack vital centers. Again, he emphasizes the same thing that Giulio Douhet did, but specifically he mentions things that have to do with logistics. Food centers, railways, bridges, canals, harbors. And he argues that this is going to save lives in the future. If we can end wars quickly by just destroying the things that run the economy and keep the war going, we're going to save a lot of lives. You know, we're not going to need our armies to fight each other because air power is just going to destroy everything that supports the army. And the surface ship is now irrelevant. A plane can sink a ship. He says that the submarine is really going to be the only relevant naval weapon in the future. So, in 1920, the Air Corps Tactical School is founded in the United States, and this really builds upon the theories of Giulio Douhet and William Billy Mitchell. Specifically, at the Air Corps Tactical School, they focus on masses of bombers that are going to penetrate, or not even penetrate, just bypass the enemy and destroy all those vital centers like was talked about. And what I find really interesting, and this will delve from the reading slightly, but how the U.S. and Britain viewed air power compared to how Japan and Germany viewed air power is very different, and that's evident in their aviation industries and the types of aircraft they build. So for instance, the U.S. and Britain focused heavily on developing bombers with a great range. They could carry a lot of bombs, so that way they can bypass and just destroy vital centers. Now, that is after you dominate the sky. We heard Billy Mitchell say that if you don't control the air, you're not going to be able to have a navy or an army existing beneath you. Now, Germany, Japan, the United States, and Britain all realized the importance of dominating the skies, just what they did afterwards that differed. So, again, United States and Britain focused on bombers destroying vital centers once they had control of the sky. Germany, however, once they had control of the sky, they focused on getting that control over their army, controlling that airspace, and providing close air support. Close air support was really not the primary focus of the United States during World War II. Japan, similarly, they focused on air dominance as well, but when it came to what they did afterwards, their strategy was really keep as many planes in the air fighting until the pilot dies or the plane can no longer function. We see kamikaze attacks as well, which psychologically they really did, that really does prove Douhet's point to a certain extent, because he argued that the psychological effects would be huge, and they were, with the Japanese just not very efficient. They killed about 4,900 U.S. servicemen to losing 4,000 planes running themselves into ships in the ocean. So that's all we got for today. I hope that, excuse me, I hope that helps you realize the importance of air power's origins and how it affected industry and the types of planes that were used during World War II.